What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Lamont, and I'm back on another YouTube video. It's been a while. I think it's been probably 3-4 years since I recorded the last YouTube video. And I said I wanted to start back doing it. I feel like that's what God's calling me to do, is to get back to do YouTube, but make sure I'm doing it for his kingdom and not my own kingdom's sake. So today I'm gonna be doing a Q&A so you guys can get to know me if you don't know me. I post a Q&A on my social media account, and these are some of the questions that I was asked. Well, first and foremost, I'm gonna introduce myself for somebody who don't know me. My name is Lamont Lewis. I'm from Louisiana, from St. James, Louisiana. I'm 23 years old. I pave roads for Central Parish, so I work with asphalt. Yeah, I'm about to get into these questions. So the first question that was asked was, what made you start following Jesus Christ? I'll go back to when I was in senior high school. This was after I graduated. I was going to play football for Nichols State University. And one of my mentors who plays football, his name is Chewy, he had invited me to a workout. One of the guys that I went to school with and his brother. Well, I kind of didn't know his brother, but I knew of his brother. And when I went to the workout, we working out, and this guy started talking about Jesus. And I'm like, bro, what? Like, bro, I'm trying to work out, bro. Why is he talking about Jesus? And the thing about it is, when he was talking about Jesus, he was talking about like the love of Jesus Christ. And I never heard it like that. Growing up in church, I always heard about the wrath of Jesus Christ. Like, if you don't do this, you're going to hell. You do that, you're going to hell. So it was kind of like this legalistic thing that I kept hearing about Jesus. And yeah, I used to always claim that I was a Christian, but I wasn't really following Jesus Christ like the Bible says follow Jesus Christ. So I'll say from that point on, being with, hearing that from his name is Sanam. Hearing that from Sanam, birthed a hunger for that, because I was like, bro, I never heard that, and I want that. Like, I need that in my life. And that was in 2020, and that's kind of like where I first started following Jesus Christ, and now we're here today. Second question is, what would you say to a young person who is struggling with finding their purpose? One thing, I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday, which is funny. One thing I always ask people is, what is something you would be doing if money wasn't involved? Because I feel like God gives us ideas and stuff like that, and we kind of put it to the side because we're like, hey, we don't have enough money for it right now. Like, oh, I don't have enough money for it. But it's like, are you really trusting God with that purpose, or are you trying to supply that purpose? And I always tell people, just like, whatever you have a passion for, God wouldn't give you that passion for no reason. And two verses that came up when I was reading this question was Proverbs 16:9. A man's mind plan his ways as he journeyed through life, but the Lord directs his steps and established them. And the second verse was Psalms 37:23. The steps of a good and righteous man are directed and established by the Lord, and he delights in his way and blesses his path. So for any young person that's trying to find their purpose, I'll tell you, first and foremost, pray. Ask God to reveal his perfect will to you. And then second, really ask yourself, what is something that you love to do, or that you would love to do if money wasn't involved? And I think that's where you'll find your purpose, your passion that God has placed inside of you. The next question was, when was the last straw that caused the shift to go from where you was to where you are now? That's a good question. I think for me, it was when I left Louisiana to go to North Carolina and really do missionary work and be with a church that was really talking about the authentic gospel. And when I heard it, it shifted my whole focus. I was like, bro, I was living like these Pharisees the whole time, not even knowing. And I was telling other people, bro, you're going to hell because you're doing this, you're going to doing that. And I was like, bro, I was about to bust hell open myself, wide open. So I think that's when it was the shift really happened. And then it causes me to wanting to know the real Jesus Christ and not a Jesus Christ that, a lot of people portray that they're following and stuff like that. So I said that was the last straw for me. And it brought me to the person who I am today. The next question is, how did you find your tribe when the path is different from the people around you? I think that's a great question because it's a lot of people who are struggling to find community, especially in Christian spaces. One thing that helped me was a prayer I prayed, and I encourage anybody to pray this prayer, but I was like, Father, remove anybody out of my life who's hindering my gift. And I turned it back on me as well too. I said, Father, remove me out of anybody's life who gift I'm hindering. And I just started seeing like a lot of people just started dropping out of my life, like friends, family, like just all sorts of people who I thought was going to do life with me in the long run, and they just didn't. And I just encourage anybody to pray that prayer. And then also, like, bro, just get plugged in with a church. Like, get plugged in with a community. Like, get plugged in with people that's your age. Like, they're out there. It's just, we're not necessarily looking for those people, if that makes sense. Like, we tend to graduate towards people who we could be comfortable with. And sometimes that's not a good thing. Like, we need people that's going to make us uncomfortable because they're going to hold us accountable. So I think that's how I found my tribe, was getting plugged in with my church. Shout out to my boy Jose, because I was wearing this exact hat. I was in church one day, and because the church I go to is called Healing Place, is on Holland. But before I started getting plugged in with the church, I used to just go to church and just go home, go to church, go home, go to church, home. And one Wednesday night, I had just came in there, and I was wearing this exact hat, and I had my head down. Cause I'm a very, I think it's called like an introvert. Like, I like staying to myself, but I was in church and I had this hat on and I had my head down, and he was like, hey bro, I like that hat. And I was like, I appreciate it, bro. And he came, walk up to me. In my mind, I'm like, bro, I do not want to talk to nobody right now. And he was like, man, he was asking me like, what's my name and stuff like that. And he introduced himself. And he was like, bro, here's my number. Like, get plugged in with church. And like, that's like one of like he's like my best friends, like big brother type mentor, bro. And I'm so glad that God had allowed me to have that divine appointment with him, because like it really like transformed my life. And I just encourage anybody, like, bro, get plugged in with your church, get plugged in those communities, because like that's gonna really like help you get into your purpose, what God called you to do, and they can pull those things out of you that you wouldn't be able to pull out yourself just being around yourself. So that's one thing I'll tell somebody, like, bro, just get plugged in with your church. The last question is, I used to watch some of your old content. What changed about you? Just sum it up, bro. I just found Jesus Christ. And I just feel like a lot of my old content wasn't glorifying Jesus Christ at all. Like, I was posting that I was a Christian, I was posting Bible verses, and still going out like cursing, doing all these other content. Like, bro, I'm misleading people. Like, I'm showing people that, hey, they can have Jesus Christ, but still have their old life too. I took down all my old content and I wanted to start off fresh. I want to give people a resurrecting perspective of showing that, hey, I was living an old, horrible life, and now I'm going to show you like what can happen when you fully give your life to Jesus Christ. So yeah, bro, that's what changed about me, bro. I just gave my life to Jesus Christ, and I want to spread the gospel to as many people as I can, and not me do the change, but let God do the change, because we only here just to plant the seeds and let God do the watering. So I guess that in that question. But yeah, man, this is something that I'm going to be doing more, is recording more content, pushing the kingdom of God, bro. Not my kingdom, but the Father's kingdom, and just give people a fresh perspective of Jesus Christ. Because I feel like my generation, like, we want the truth. We want to seek the truth, but we just looking at all the different wrong places. So I feel like that's what God's calling me to do, is to be that leader, to be that voice for my generation, and just help out people. Because, I mean, that's what we all need. We all need help. We all need people looking out for us. So that's what I'll be doing on forward. So, man, I appreciate y'all for checking in with me, bro. I appreciate y'all locking in with me on this video. And I encourage y'all to subscribe and just come along with me on this journey, on this race, till, it's my time to be with the Lord. So thank you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and put some more video suggestions down in the comment section. We out. Peace.